Hello, everybody. Welcome back again. Now, I say again because I'm assuming you have seen the first video of this video series and you have a good idea of what this project is about and what you can expect from now on, which is video number 2. So, first things first, I'll give you a brief on what you can expect from this particular video, which is video number 2. In this video, we will clone the project, set it up on our local machines, and try to run it locally for testing purposes before you can implement it or put it into production. All right, so to get started, I would recommend you going to this link, which is github.com/shiv2 /domgmt. I will also provide this link in the video description. This is the GitHub repository where I'm maintaining this project. And before we get started, there are a few prerequisites that you would need to fulfill. For that, let's go to readme.md file where you'll find most of the things. In fact, you'll find everything that you would need to get started. So if you scroll down, you can ignore the diagram for now. What you need to do is look under the prerequisites title, where it says MongoDB version 4.2 or above and Node.js version 10.16 or above. So these two are required for this project to run locally on your machine with the correct version. If you don't have them, I highly recommend you pause this video, install these software, and then continue. Also, so that you don't waste time surfing the internet searching for the download pages, I've provided the link right here under the dependencies title. You can right click on this link, Node.js, and open it new tab, which would straight away take you to the downloads folder. And in particular, you can download the older versions, which is version 10. I'm using version 10.6. In case you want to download the latest version, that should also work. So at the time of recording this video, I think Node.js has already released version 12 and above. Yeah, 12.13 LTS stands for long-term support. So if you want to download this, that should also work. Similarly, for MongoDB, you can right click on MongoDB link under the dependencies title on readme.md file right here. Open in a new tab, and this will take you to the MongoDB downloads page for the community server edition, which also means this is free for use, especially for testing and development purposes. Now, once you have done that, make sure MongoDB is running on your system. On a Windows machine, it typically runs as a service. So if I go to services, yeah, right there, services.msc, hit enter. I should open the services. Yeah, there it goes. Now you see MongoDB server that runs as a service on a Windows machine. If you are on Mac or Linux, this of course there are no services like you have on Windows, but make sure those are running. If you don't know how to run MongoDB on your machine, I would highly suggest you go to a short tutorial and make sure it is running. With that done, once you have Node.js required version installed on your system and MongoDB installed on your system, the second thing that you would need to do is make sure that you create a database on MongoDB. Now, since we are on Windows machine, I'll show you how to do it on Windows, but it would be very similar for Mac or Linux as well. So for Windows, the installation happens at this path usually, which is C program files, MongoDB, and you need to go to this folder, which is server. Then you'll see the version number. So if you have installed 4.2, you'll see 4.2 and then the bin folder. You need to go to the bin folder and you can open your command prompt here. So I'll just directly type cmd here, hit enter, and this will open in this path. Now, if you're on Mac or Linux, you can simply open your terminal and type Mongo. Hit enter, and that should take you to the Mongo shell. On Windows, you just need to navigate to this directory and hit enter, which should open the Mongo shell. And now, once you are in the Mongo shell, you will need to create a database. This is the database that your middleware will connect to. How to connect it, I'll let you know. So to create a database, you can run this command called use space and then your database name. So for example, if I want to name it MyDB, I can do that and hit enter. Now because I have already created one, I will not create another one. In fact, ticketing DB is the name of my database that I'm using, and once I hit enter, you'll see this message called switch to DB and then followed by the database name. This would behave the same way on Mac or Linux as well. So once done, you have created a database on your Mongo services, and you are ready to connect your middleware to this database. Now once done, you will need to go back to this repository and go to the domgmt directory, and you'll find this little button here that says clone or download. Now if you're on a terminal, you can type git clone followed by this URL, and if you're using something like git bash on your Windows machine, you can do it the similar way, which is git space clone space this URL right here. Or else if you just simply want to download it, you can click on this download zip button, which will download a zip folder containing this project, and then you can unzip and navigate to it. So because I already have this on my machine, I will simply go and navigate here, which is domgmt right there. Now once you've navigated to this folder, you will need to type a command called npm space install. And also I would like to remind you, all these starting instructions are there on the readme.md file. So if I go to readme.md file and I scroll down, you can ignore the diagram for now. You can go to the prerequisites title. Under that, you will find the required versions that you would require to run this project for your database, which is MongoDB, and runtime, which is Node.js. And thereafter, the instructions. Like I said, you need to clone this project or download the zip file, navigate to the project directory using your command prompt or terminal, and then run this command npm install. So what this command does is it looks into the package.json file and downloads all the required packages required to run this project on your local machine. I've also listed all the packages that will get downloaded here, and with that I would also like to mention, you really don't have to worry about the licenses because I've checked them myself. All these packages that I've used are open source, so it is absolutely free to use. You really don't have to worry about this. Anyway, so once you run npm install, it might take some time for the packages to get downloaded, but once it is done, all you need to do is run this command called npm start. This will spin up a local development server on your machine on port number 5000. Now for any reason, if you don't want to use port 5000 or it is being consumed by some other process, what you can do is you can open your favorite editor, navigate to your directory, or just open your directory in your favorite editor. I'm using VS Code. Go to this file right here that says server.js, and on line number 4 you'll see the port number defined. Now say for example, if you want to run it on port 8080, you can just do that and that should work. I'll keep it to port 5000 because that works for me. Apart from that, when you created the database on MongoDB, remember, using the terminal or the command prompt, you had given a name to your database. You would need that database name to connect this middleware to that database. So you would need to go to this controller folder or the controller directory that you see here on the screen, and within that you have something called as app.js. Open app.js, and starting on line number 20, you will see the method or the function that connects to the database. So which is called mongoose.connect mongodb localhost. Now 27017 is the default port that MongoDB usually uses, so you can leave it as it is. followed by your database name that you'd given. Since I'd given ticketing DB, I'll keep it as it is. Now, with all that setup running, you can go back to your terminal, and once everything is installed, all the packages have been installed using npm install, you will need to run npm start. Now, like I said, this will spin up a local development server on your local machine on port 5000. With that, you should also see a message on your terminal or command prompt that says connected to DB, which you will see on your screen just like that. If you see this message, your middleware has successfully connected to the database that you just created and is running on the port specified by you. If you really want to quickly check it, if it really works or not, you can open your browser, type localhost colon, and then followed by the port number. Since I'm using 5000, I'll give 5000. You can give whatever you have mentioned in the server.js file, which was here on line number 4. I mentioned port 5000, so I'll use port 5000. I can then hit enter, and you'll see this JSON response that says error and followed by message not found. Now, this is the expected behavior, and you should see this error message. If you do, that means your project has successfully run on your local machine. Next up, in the following video, we'll make some initial commits to the database to make sure the project runs as expected. Until then, thank you.